Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy APFC, all Arsenal content, but not exclusively so. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Hope Arsenal didn't ruin your weekend, and I hope everyone has a pleasant Monday and the week moving forward. Today, I am going to discuss Alexander Lacazette. Now, Lacazette, he is seriously dividing opinion at the moment, and this is why I did this video, because on one hand you have a set of Arsenal fans that are critical of Lacazette because he is a striker first and foremost, technically a striker, we signed him as a striker, but he's not scoring many goals. On the other hand, we have another set of Arsenal fans that are highlighting what he does without scoring, what he offers the team aside from goals, because let's be real, he's not offered a lot with goals this season. However, he is offering a lot more in terms of other aspects of the play. So just wanted to have a quick video of a discussion about Lacazette because, yeah, as I said, he is dividing opinion at the moment. His performance at Palace sort of summarised where he is at this season. In front of goal, first of all, he doesn't seem to be getting in these goal-scoring positions that he did previously in other seasons. I do remember his first season at Arsenal, his first 2 to 3 months. He seemed to be getting in a lot more goal-scoring positions. Before Aubameyang came, obviously he was our main man, but he just seemed to be able to find himself in better positions in the box. Whereas this season, yeah, he hasn't scored as many goals, but he has had chances and he hasn't converted. But he doesn't seem to be playing the same sort of role as he was previously under Wenger and even under Emery. So it sort of makes you wonder where Lacazette, where he sits at Arsenal. What is his role? Has he been put out to be an out-and-out striker, or is Arteta perhaps developing a new role for him? And this is why I wanted to have this discussion, because let's use Roberto Firmino as an example. Roberto Firmino has almost changed the role of a central forward or a striker, because although Firmino is not a player that just doesn't score goals, he doesn't score that 20 to 25 mark that is the standard expected from a top 4 to top 6 striker, or any sort of striker's goal, I assume, in the Premier League is to, for a very successful season, is to hit 20 plus goals. Firmino isn't that player. We've seen he's not. It's not like he can't finish. It's not like he can't. It's not like he doesn't keep his composure, because he does keep his composure in the box. And you saw he scored a fantastic goal against Tottenham, where he did an excellent first touch and he bent at bottom corner. It was an exceptional bit of skill from Firmino. But he offers a lot more. Now with Firmino, the first thing you notice about him is his off the ball work rate. Liverpool play, as they like to call it, the Gengham press, which is the the sort of press that they do, which apparently has been, sort of not invented by Klopp, but really mastered by Klopp. It's how they play. You have Firmino playing as that hard pressing striker. You've got Mane on the other side, and you've got Salah on the other. But Firmino starts the press. He's the link, not the link, but he's the main man in terms of pressing the defenders when they have the ball. He starts it. He begins it. And the reason why I bring Firmino up is that since Arteta has come in, Lacazette now seems to be the first man pressing. And a good example of this is that 55 minutes into the game, 60 minutes in the game, I looked over at Lacazette and he was gone. His legs were completely gone. And fair play, he played, I think, up until around the 80th minute or so. But you could tell by then his legs were completely gone. When Lacazette was playing under Wenger, maybe earlier under Emery, I never saw that. I never saw 55, 60 minutes in that his legs were gone. He would often actually looked stronger at times at the end of the game when perhaps defenders were getting tired and he sees more of an opportunity to score goals. Alex Lacazette at Lyon was an out-and-out goal scorer. You know, I used to watch Lacazette in the Champions League and Champions League highlight shows, and, you know, Lyon would play in a respect of you put the ball through to Lacazette. Lacazette's pretty quick, and 9 times out of 10 he'd finish. He doesn't seem to have that confidence as such now, and he seems to perhaps be more open to learning a different sort of role, whether that's like a second striker role or that's a centre forward. You know, only time will tell under Arteta. But what you would have noticed, going back to my point about Firmino, is that Lacazette is doing the same thing as Firmino now. I've never seen Lacazette press to that level ever at Arsenal. Another thing, going back to Firmino. What does Firmino do as a centre forward? He links the midfield to the attack, first of all. You think of some of Liverpool's midfielders, well, you know, they obviously play through the middle, but they often play from out wide into the middle and then perhaps back out wide again. So he often comes back to link with actually the wing backs, with Trent and Andy Robertson. He brings himself back because they end up coming quite far forward. He links up with them, and he allows Salah and Mane to come into the game more and to do more delicate touches at the ball. You would have noticed with the Liverpool game against Tottenham that, you know, they bring the ball in the middle. The wing backs or the midfielders bring the ball into the middle. Firmino is he's the receiver of that first pass where he lays it off to whoever it may be. It could be one of the wingers. It could be back to one of the midfielders. The midfielders will play it through on the wing to either Mane or Salah. And by that point, you know, they've already gotten quite far forward. They're in the opposition's box. And knowing Liverpool and the way they've played this year, 9 times out of 10, when they're in the box, they're putting it in with some of the fantastic goal scorers they have with Mane and Salah. Firmino is obviously a good goal scorer as well, but it's what he does in the link-up play that is what is separating perhaps City and Liverpool this year, in the respects that City have one of the best strikers I've seen in Premier League history, Sergio Aguero, who is apparently now the highest goal scorer from a foreign player in the Premier League. He's just overtaken Thierry Henry. But the reason why I think Liverpool the reason why Liverpool's wing-backs with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson get so many assists and are so involved is because of the role Firmino is playing in linking up the attack with the midfield. Yes, they're defenders, but Trent and Andy Robertson, let's be real, they almost come left and right wingers when Liverpool are pushing forward. Firmino is that link. And this is what I am perhaps starting to see a role that Lacazette is playing a similar role, because you would have seen now that Aubameyang seems to be a mainstay out left. I don't necessarily agree with that, but based on the way that we are playing at the moment and how open we've been defensively, I don't think we can play a front two up top. It just doesn't seem to be working. So Lacazette seems to be that player, because what I noticed, particularly with the first goal, or the only goal that we scored, first goal of the game, it was Socrates or Luiz played it through to Ozil. Ozil did that delicate touch, and from there on in, Lacazette played that first time through ball through to Aubameyang. Aubameyang came from the left, drifted to the middle, made the run, and great first touch, and he put it bottom right. Again, Lacazette in the Man United game, no goals. However, what he was able to do in that game is we put more pressure on their defenders in the final third because we were holding the ball more in the final third. And that comes down to Lacazette, because although Lacazette is not physically, he's not a big boy, he's not a big player, he is very strong for his size, and he has a very, very good low center of gravity where he can hold the ball up. He's not easily pushed off the ball. And, you know, he's able to link up often it's Ozil. Ozil sort of comes next to him, but he's often able to link up with our wingers, particularly our wing-backs as well. As Kolasinac, particularly on the left-hand side, seems to be our more attacking out of the wing-backs, and he bombs forward. So Lacazette is the only player in our team that is able to do that. And I think Arteta has realised that Aubameyang is a fantastic goal scorer, and regardless of where you play on the right, the left, he's going to score goals. So I think what Arteta is trying to do is he's trying to maximise what Lacazette can do, because goal scoring wise, Aubameyang is the better goal scorer. But the better footballer for me is Lacazette. And you could say the similar thing for Liverpool. Salah, Mane, or let's go use Salah, because I think Mane is the best in that team in regards to complete footballs. Let's use Salah. Salah may score more goals, but I think Firmino is the better footballer. I think his football intelligence is stronger than Salah. Salah often holds the ball too long and can be a little bit selfish. You never see that from Firmino. And you could say similarly with Lacazette, you don't see that from him. You don't see Lacazette as too selfish. Initially, when he came to Arsenal, he had that bit more of a selfish streak because of his role in the team. He was a striker. He was our goal scorer. And when you're a striker, you do have the room to be a bit selfish. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, someone like Didier Drogba comes to mind, where he was a bit selfish at times, but his goal-scoring records and his success with Chelsea speaks for itself. Now, because of the high-pressing system we like to play, Lacazette is the best out of our front three that can press. Aubameyang, he presses, but quite tentatively at times. Pepe, again, probably similar to Aubameyang. But the amount of fouls Lacazette was giving away, I have no problem with that, because yes, he's giving away fouls and he's giving the possession back to the opposition, but it suffocates and puts more pressure on the opposition when you have someone in the final third not letting them get out. And that was happening particularly in the first 30 minutes of that Palace game, is that they couldn't get out, and if they did pass Lacazette, Torreira would always be there as almost the second line of defence outside the defence, if that makes sense. So you have Lacazette leading it with Aubameyang on one side and Pepe on the other. In the midfield, you have Xhaka sort of pushing, but you mainly have Torreira being that ball terrier that's basically trying to win back possession for the team. And we were suffocating them. And I think the only reason why we couldn't maintain that throughout the whole game is because we're not fit enough. But I'm hoping and I'm positive that by the end of the season, and particularly by next season, when Arteta has a full pre-season with the team, we will be able to implement that system consistently. And Lacazette is a key factor to that. What Lacazette, I've also noticed that he does, is that he links up well with Ozil. Now, Ozil is a player that I don't think should be at Arsenal after this season. I think it's his time is over, and we need to move on from him. But he links up with Ozil, and I think this is why Ozil has been more effective, is that there's almost less pressure on Mesut Ozil not to perform, but to be that sort of playmaker. When you have someone like Lacazette, who also is that sort of playmaker, maybe not that sort of Mesut Ozil role player, but in some respects he is a playmaker. Maybe he isn't the guy that makes that direct pass every time. He could potentially be the, as people call it, the pre-assist, where you know he makes that pass and then someone else plays it through to Aubameyang, whoever it is, and then they put it in. You know? And I think if we're going to get the best out of our wingers, which we didn't when at the end of the Emery era or this season, obviously with Pepe not really performing that well, Lacazette is a key part of that, with linking up to the wingers and getting possession to Pepe, getting the ball to Aubameyang. Maybe not so much to Aubameyang, because when Lacazette has the ball, Aubameyang tends to drift and come in and play as the striker. But maybe with Kolasinac, because Kolasinac out of the wing-backs, as I mentioned, is the one that bombs forward. So it's a bit of a catch-22. You're not getting the goal scoring that we expected from Lacazette, and when he came in, I thought that Lacazette would be a 20 to 25 a season goal scorer. Things obviously haven't worked out that way, but what Lacazette is offering for us is way more, from my perspective, is offering way more than I expected in terms of off the ball press and his hold-up play and his link-up play. So it's going to be interesting because I think the next month will determine whether Lacazette is playing that role that I'm discussing, that sort of Roberto Firmino role. We'll find out because it's looking like it right now. Arteta's only had about 5 games, I think. So it's still, for me, too early to tell. But I think we'll find out within the next month whether Lacazette has been implemented as that centre forward, playmaker sort of role. It will be, and it will be interesting to see how that sort of pans out for us. I do think Lacazette is also more gassed at the end of games because he is doing a lot of running for Mesut Ozil. I still think Mesut Ozil, yes, he's been putting in more effort, does not really have those fitness levels that we need. I think we should be looking to move him on at the end of the season, but get what we can out of him now, considering the wages he's on. So it would be interesting to see next season if he stays, because I really do hope he stays. If we bring in another attacking midfielder, or we keep Ceballos and Ceballos, starts performing for us, how much better we'll look, and how much better Lacazette will be with a stronger and fitter playmaker behind him to sort of help him with that press. So that's all I really have for today, guys. Just wanted to do a quick discussion point on Lacazette. Is he sort of the new Firmino for us? Well, only time will tell. But thanks for watching. My videos yesterday, please go and check it out. My channel is APFC. I did a video yesterday discussing Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Bellerin, who's the better right back. Please go and check that out. I am going to be focusing a lot more on discussion videos on this channel, as well as, previews of matches and post-match or pre-match conferences, reaction as well. I'll be doing a bit of that. So please keep your eyes peeled. Any sort of feedback, please send it through. Always willing to listen, always looking to improve. I look forward to hearing from you guys soon. This is APFC, all Arsenal content, but not exclusively so. Have a great day, guys.